Lorelai. We're ready, Amy.
Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual town board meeting of the Hyde Park Town Board. Today is Monday, January 25th, and it's good to see everyone. Before we get started, I did want to take a moment to introduce our new board member, Stephen Woodcock. Stephen is the new councilman for Ward 3, and so we're happy to see you here tonight, Stephen. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be on the board and getting ready to go already. So
I'm
it's
sure.
been fun so far. Thank you.
Good man.
Very good. Okay, so let's get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so here we are, rolling right through January. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? So I think that we'll be happy to see this month behind us, and hoping for better for February in terms, especially of our COVID numbers. So we did have our weekly call with the county executive today. And I encourage all of our residents to sign up for Dutchess delivery at the Dutchess County website. That will keep you apprised of vaccination options. Very sadly, Dutchess County is only scheduled to receive 600 this week. New York is only receiving 250,000 for the whole state this week. So, there's been a lot of confusion as to why people are not able to get appointments. And it's essentially because there are no appointments being scheduled because there's no vaccines. So there are a couple of options that people will find at the county website, but just to quickly review, there are a couple of regional centers that are providing vaccinations to those over 65 and those people that are qualified through either phase 1A or phase 1B. And that does include police, fire volunteers, and a whole slew of other people, and particularly those over 65. So, so the first option is the state-sponsored sites. They can be accessed through MI Eligible. That's the website, MI Eligible New York State. But those those registrations for vaccinations for the state sites, and the regional locations are, there's one in Westchester and one in Albany. They are not taking any appointments right now because they don't have any vaccinations. The other option is through the Dutchess County centers, and they are currently, there was one in Dover and another at J.C. Penney, and they will be opening up registration when they receive their vaccinations, but they do not have any as of yet. They are expecting a certain number tomorrow, so those registrations will open and they will fill very quickly. The third option is through drugstores. And right now it's Rite Aid and Tops is where some vaccinations are available. It appears that those locations are notifying their customers to obtain the vaccines there. And they of course are very limited. So I do encourage people to sign up for the Dutchess County delivery website. They can go there, sign up, and then they'll get notifications of upcoming events, and particularly related to COVID. So yeah, you can go on, you can check when you do register, you can check the boxes for what type of emails you want to receive notification of. And so I think that's a useful location for information. And it is very frustrating for many people that the registrations are primarily occurring online. And so we do have concerns about our seniors who may not have access to computers for that registration. So for young folks out there, if you could reach out to seniors you might know who won't have the ability to do that, and just kind of maybe take one under your wing to be their advocate, that would be great. So I just wanted to give that brief update on the status of vaccinations prior to really getting into our meeting. So may I have a motion to accept the minutes of January 4th?
Make a motion.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And we do have public comment on the resolutions. Did anyone register or provide any comments, Donna or Neil?
Not to me, no.
Nope. Okay. All right. And so we do have a public hearing on our agenda that will not be necessary, I'm happy to say. And this was a public hearing to use 50,000 out of our snow reserve, but got to give a shout out to our great highway super who has efficiently managed his department. And so that is not necessary for us to access those funds as we have enough surplus, it appears, from the budget from 2020. So thanks, Howie, and to your whole
Amazing job. Thanks, Howie.
That's great.
Very nice.
That's great.
So we won't have that on the agenda. And we do have one additional item that I would like to ask for the board to allow to be put on the agenda. And that is to create a temporary position for Alki Dore to do work at our, where we're basically hiring him so he can work with our rec employees to renovate the program building at Hackett Hill. So
I'll
he,
make that motion.
okay,
Second.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Okay, so with that, may I then have a motion to enter executive session to discuss a personnel issue?
I make that motion.
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so may I have a motion to return from executive session?
I make a motion.
And I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And a decision was made. And I'd also like to ask for a motion to add a resolution at the dais here, and that would be to authorize the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve a disciplinary settlement of town employee 12521 and authorize the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute said agreement on the town's behalf.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. So moving right along here, we do have two workshops on the agenda tonight, and I'd like to go ahead and welcome Jennifer Mund, our town assessor, and thank Jennifer for staying late, and she always does. And you know, we're lucky to have someone who is as informed and knowledgeable as Jennifer, and it's a pleasure to work with you. And I just thought, you know, it would be nice for you to just give a little bit of an update on the exemption status, but also to just offer a little very short discussion on how the equalization rate works. So welcome.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to start with the equalization rate.
Okay.
I know there's always some questions about the equalization rate and how it works, and I'm going to keep it as short as I could. This is a very, lengthy topic, so I'm really just kind of briefly touching on it. And anybody can always reach out to me with any questions. send me an email or leave a message. We're kind of short-staffed right now, so, but I will leave a message. I will get back to you maybe on a Saturday morning or later in the evening, but feel free to to give me a call anytime. So in New York State, not all municipalities assess at the same percentage of market value. Some municipalities will assess at 100% of market value, and others will be at a different percentage. That percentage of value is called the equalization rate. An equalization rate is the state's measure of the municipality's level of assessment. The assessor establishes, or we state, the level of assessment, but it must be confirmed by the state. They confirm that by developing a ratio. The ratio is the total assessed value divided by the total market value. And then that ratio must come out to be within 5% of the assessor's stated level of assessment in order for the state to confirm it. The town of Hyde Park has a 52% equalization rate. And again, it's not uncommon for a municipality to have a rate other than 100%. As the values of property in a municipality rise, the equalization rate will drop if the municipality is not annually reassessing. In 2020, the aggregate trend for the residential properties in Hyde Park was between 7 and 8%. We had a very strong market. And if property values drop, the equalization rate goes up. If the full value of the town is going up, and if our values are rising more than other towns in a taxing jurisdiction, we may take on a greater share of the taxes than we had seen in prior year. Equalization shifts can happen every year, and they do. Often the movement is very small and we don't notice it. But some years a municipality may get more value added because the movement of the market was greater in that municipality than in others. If municipalities were to assess at 100% of market value, if all of them were, there would be no need for equalization. An equalization rate of 100% means that a municipality is assessing properties at 100% of market value. An equalization rate of less than 100% means that the total assessed value of the municipality is less than its market value. And an equalization rate of more than 100% means that its total assessments are higher than the market value. So why is equalization necessary? We go through this big, long process, year-long process every year. Equalization is necessary in order to ensure that the apportionment of taxes is equitable between segments of taxing jurisdictions. School districts and fire districts, for instance, will cross municipal boundaries. So if we just use the Hyde Park Central School District as an example, it's in the town of Hyde Park, the town of Clinton, the town of Rhinebeck, the town of Pleasant Valley, and the town of Poughkeepsie. So we have obviously more than one municipality that we're dealing with. So how do you apportion the taxes in the taxing jurisdiction between all of these towns? We need to know the full value of each segment of the school district in those municipalities. If the other municipalities are 100% equalization rate, we know the assessed value and the market value are the same. If, like Hyde Park, they're at a lower equalization rate, we use that equalization rate to bring the assessments to 100% of market value. So if a school district is in, just say, 2 towns, and one has a 100% equalization rate, and the other has a 50% equalization rate, how do you apportion the taxes equitably? The equalization rate is applied to the town with the 50% EQ rate, which will bring the assessed value of the municipality to 100% full value. Taxes can then be apportioned equitably for each segment in the school district. So just because a municipality is at 52% or at 75% or at 13% or at 0.5%, it doesn't mean that they're paying 0.5% of their share or 52% of their share. The equalization rate takes care of that. It gets applied to the assessments, it brings it to the full market value, and then taxes can be equitably distributed. So I hope that's, you know.
So Jen, I've had a resident or two call me regarding this issue. So I just want to make it clear. So if somebody lives in the town of Poughkeepsie and then the other resident lives in Hyde Park resident is not paying 50% more in taxes than the guy that lives in town of Poughkeepsie, correct? If their
Correct.
value of their homes are the same.
Correct. Comparing, you have to look at the tax rates, and then we get into once you reach full value, it's then the share of the levy, the proportionate share of the levy for each segment. And then you take the value of the segment and the value of their proportion of the levy, and you establish a tax rate. But if the town of Poughkeepsie, I believe, has 1,400 parcels in, say, like the Fairview Fire District, town of Hyde Park is 742, I believe. So you can't have the same tax rate.
Right.
So you can't compare tax rates. You really just have to look at your individual assessed value. And then if you have any questions, like I said, reach out to the assessor, and reach out to your school districts. I tell this to people, be involved in your school district budget meetings, your fire district budget meetings, all of those things. Be informed so you know what's happening, because they're their own taxing jurisdictions.
Right.
So I just want to clarify one thing, Jen, that the equalization rate is established via the state by examining actual sales. Is that right?
Yes, they examine the sales, they develop a trend, the state establishes the market value.
Right.
We set the assessments, the state establishes the market value.
And-
And then that is used in the equalization rate calculation. And if they can't confirm, I can state a level of assessment, but it has to be realistic. The state's going to evaluate that. If we're not within that 5% tolerance, they won't accept our level of assessment, which would, if can be confirmed, become our equalization rate. But if they can't confirm it, then they will set the equalization rate. So there's no way to go around or to circumvent having an accurate equalization rate.
Well, I think that's the important point, is that, there's concern that if you're not reevaluating every year, that, how do you account for the big jump? Like we were fortunate and we had a really good year in Hyde Park for
We did.
homeowners. The average value went up about, was it 8%, Jen, or?
Yes, around 8%. And the state, we look at the sales, and I see how the sales are coming in compared to assessments. And the state measures that also, and they developed a trend, and they apply that in their calculation of our full value.
Right.
So
then-
yes, our market moved, and our market moved greater than our surrounding towns.
Right.
We just had a market that was in a range where people were excited to buy. So we saw a higher trend. So it increased our share of the full value, our full value, maybe more than the other towns went up.
But also, just to speak to one of the points that you made, it's really driven by the budget, right? And in terms of your tax dollars, there's the assessment, but then there's also the budget of the taxing entity. And, in the case of the fire district that Ken had been receiving a number of calls on, and Stephen, you probably will also, I think that their budget itself went up almost 800,000. So
Like 28% or something like that.
Right.
that's really
Unbelievable,
what
yeah.
drove the increase, and not the fact that we're at 52%. They're like, you're talking about two very different things.
Right. And I always say the levy is the levy. The money has to be raised. And, if you increase a levy, somebody has to pay for it.
Right.
It may be apportioned differently, and we hope it's apportioned equitably based on the full value of a municipality or the segment of the taxing jurisdiction in a municipality. But at the end of the day, the levy is the levy, and that's the amount of money that needs to be raised.
Right, and that's the amount that the 2%, the tax cap is imposed upon. And so, not to get too much into the weeds, but I did have a discussion this week with the head of the IDA, who we discussed the issue of how pilots impact the tax cap. And Jen, you and I and Warren have had that discussion, and you know, the school district has a concern that the payment in lieu of taxes actually impact their ability to stay under the tax cap. But I know we are getting into the weeds here, but you know, that's something that I had suggested that Sarah Lee get a very clear opinion from the state comptroller on how that pilot situation impacts the tax cap. But anyway, thank you for that presentation. It takes a really long time for that all to sink in.
It does. It does. And that's why I always tell everybody it's to reach out to me if you have questions. It's just, it's way easier to have a discussion than my sitting here trying to, help everybody understand this in 6 minutes,
Okay,
so
well,
anytime.
yeah, good.
So now,
but
do you want me to move on to the exemptions?
the exemptions, I think that's very important for
Okay.
our residents.
So the other topic I'm going to discuss tonight is the senior citizen and the disability exemption. Due to COVID, New York State recently passed a law that will keep the eligible senior citizens and the disability exemption percentages the same for the 2021 assessment roll as they were on the 2020 assessment roll, without a renewal application being filed. So those applications had been mailed out in the fall, like we normally do. The law passed after that. You do not have to return the application in order to continue having your exemption in place. You will have the same percentage that you had last year. However, if you feel that your income has been reduced and you would have had a greater percentage of exemption for 2021, the law does allow for you to file that exemption and that exemption paperwork. If you don't have it anymore, you can certainly reach out, email or telephone, and we'll get it in the mail to you. You would have to have it returned to the office in order for me to, by March 1st, in order for me to process it. But you would get the benefit of a greater exemption. If you submit it and you were not entitled to a greater exemption, or you would have had a lower, you will still maintain the same percentage you had on the 2020 assessment roll. Let me just take a look here if there's anything else I have in my notes. Again, just reach out to the assessor's office if you have any questions. Application renewals were mailed, so you may have one if you feel like you need to submit it. If you've already submitted one, we do have people who've returned them already. I will be reviewing them. Your percentage will not go down. But if I look at the paperwork and I see that your percentage would have gone up, it will be increased. You will get a notice in the mail telling you of the new percentage, but they will not be decreased if I find your income has gone up to a higher level. We did put in the mail late last week a notice to everybody who had the senior exemption or the disability exemption, notifying you that you did not have to refile. So it should be self-explanatory, but again, it can be confusing. So please email, reach out to the office, and I will get back to you.
Great.
I have a question.
Okay.
When I had my home, it had the senior star exemption, and I didn't have to apply every year. They just looked at the IRS return.
Yes,
That's the same?
that's the same. That's the
Okay.
enhanced star. Yep, that is the same.
So you don't have to apply every year for that.
No, you don't.
Gotcha.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, all right, well, Jen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jen.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Okay,
Thank you, Jen.
take care.
Take care. Good
See
night.
you, Jen.
Good
Bye.
night.
Okay, so now we have our second workshop. It's a presentation by Girl Scout LORELAI HERRIMAN on her Girl Scout project idea for the installation of a GAGA ball pit at Hackett Hill.
All right, let me go get her real quick. I let her go back to class.
Oh,
Groovy.
okay, thank you. And we have a couple of interested parties here. We have Nicole Nooks. She's on our rec commission. Hi, Nicole. And Robert Pollard, our rec director. And thank you for joining us. And do we have someone else?
Debbie is here as well.
Debbie's here too.
Yeah, Debbie's her mentor sponsor.
Yes. Okay.
Debbie and Nicole are both muted.
Okay. So hi, Lorelai. Do we pronounce your name Lorelai, or is that right?
Lorelai.
Lorelai. Hi, Lorelai. Thanks for joining us tonight. Do you want to, and good work. We're excited to hear about your proposal for your Girl Scout project at Hackett Hill.
So my project is a Gaga ball pit at Hackett Hill. This will be getting kids off their phones and play more with other kids. And even if the camp is not open, and at some points, people can still stop by and hang out and get people out of their houses and get fresh air.
Nice.
Oh, I love that idea.
And this project will be going right near the pool pump is,
Mhm.
near the Arts and Crafts Center. And the way that you play this game will be you have to hit with your palm, only with the ball. And if you hit with your knees lower, then you're out until the next round, and then the last person in there wins.
And how many people can play?
It's
Like a lot.
2 or more.
2 or more? Great.
Yeah. and
Is
that's
this for Girl Scouts?
Yeah, this is for Girl Scouts. And we will be hopefully getting a few donations from Home Depot
Mm-hmm.
and other local businesses. Hopefully when it gets a little bit warmer, we'll try to do a car wash and everything that we can.
Little fundraising.
Wonderful.
So how do you plan to construct it?
I'm planning on getting a few people to help, and we're going to be getting some stuff from Home Depot and everything, and going to exactly where we need it. We might have to cut down a few bushes, and we're just going to be putting it there. It's a few pieces of plywood. We'll need We'll need some wood, hinges, deck screws, and we're gonna think about doing a few Gaga ball pit balls, just so like we can keep them there, and we might want to keep them in the inside, and then if people just come when camp isn't open, then we'll just let them know that they have to bring their own.
Okay.
That's great. I heard on the street that if you need to like dig a hole or anything like that, Councilman Woodcock is really good at it, and he'd be more than happy to help out.
Oh, I heard it was Councilman Schneider.
Oh, you sure?
Actually, I heard it was both.
Thanks a lot. The youngest one, of course.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
I'm
Well,
not digging any. I'm not digging holes.
well, Lorelai, that sounds like a great project. Nicole or Rob, or would you like to give any input? Or Deb, or?
I started with this. Debbie brought it to our attention, and she came to the park, Lorelai and her mother, and we scouted out the best place for it, and she made a good choice. And I think she has everything squared away for fundraising all lined up.
That's fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now we just need a little
Nice.
sunshine and warm weather, right? Good. Okay, well, thank you for coming tonight. It's good to hear about your project, and it's great that you want to do things to help your community, and it's just great. So
Thank
we'll
you.
look forward to seeing the project progress.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
much. Thank
Ni-
you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
And
to meet you too.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Lorelai.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys, do you want to roll right into the resolutions? We've got a lot of them.
Give me a second.
Yeah, I see that.
Hold on one second.
Neil, I admire your ability to run the meeting and participate.
Doing my best.
Well, you're doing a great job. You always do. Thank you.
The man for all seasons.
Okay.
Yes, no doubt.
Resolution 125-1 of 2021. Resolution adopting local law number F of the year 2021 entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 102 of the Town Code with regard to timber harvesting to provide in relevant part that a special use permit and site plan approval shall be required for all timber harvesting activities covered by said chapter.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Warren, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just have to do a little bit of work before we.
Oh, right.
adopt it. So we had designated this as an unlisted action under seeker and did a long form environmental assessment form. Probably could have qualified as a type 2 action, but we did do a part 1 and we sent it off to the county. So I prepared a part 2 of the full environmental assessment form because the impacts of this project are almost non-existent in terms of the environment. I've taken the liberty of filling out the part 2 and answering all the questions in the negative subject to your approval, that the project will not have any impact on land, will not have any impact on geological features, no impact on surface water, no impact on groundwater, no impact on flooding, no impact on air, no impact on plants and animals, no impact on agricultural resources, no impact on aesthetic resources, no impact on historic and archaeological resources, no impact on open space and recreation, no impact on any critical environmental areas, no impact on transportation, no impact on energy, no impact on noise, odor, and light, and no impact on human health. No impact that the project is consistent with the comprehensive plan and other community land use plans, and that it's consistent also with the community character. So if you're all in agreement on that, when you pass the resolution, which you just voted upon, you essentially voted to issue what we call a negative seeker determination, that the project will have no significant impacts on the environment, and that an environmental impacts study need not be prepared. And the law itself, basically, the major change in the timber harvesting law that we've made pursuant to this local law is that now, instead of just being permitted by the zoning administrator, it will now have to be referred to the plan. The applications will have to be referred to the planning board for special permit and site plan approval to give more oversight over these types of activities.
That's great. Thanks, Warren. I think this is a really nice improvement to the existing law. Thank you for putting that together. So did we vote prematurely? Should we vote again?
No, you voted it. That's okay. Just wanted to specify what you voted on.
All right, good work. All right, let's move on then to resolution number 2.
Sure. Resolution 125-2 of 2021. Resolution commencing the local law adoption process for local law A of the year 2021, entitled A Local Law Amending Certain Provisions of Chapter 70 the Town of Hyde Park Code regarding the issuance of hawking and peddling licenses.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And Donna was involved in this law, the police chief, and of course Warren. And again, I think it's a good tweaking of an existing law to solve an underlying
I agree.
weakness.
I have agreed. That's really terrific.
Thanks, Warren. Wait, did we voted? Sorry, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Ready?
Yeah.
Resolution 125-3 of 2021. Resolution commencing the local law adoption process for adoption of local law number B of the year 2021 entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 40, Section 40-11D of the Town Code with regard to imposition and collection of fees for fire safety and property maintenance inspections.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And Warren, did you just want to briefly discuss that?
Yeah, basically, it's a very simple local law. We had found some that the building inspector and the fire inspector are having some difficulty in the process of collecting the fees for fire inspections. So we amended the law to provide that the inspection will be performed and then the property owner will be billed for the inspection fee as stated in our schedule of permit fees. And if it is not paid, we now have the authority to place it on the tax roll and have it collected as part of the taxes by the it's charged back to the property owner. And it's a way of collecting the fee if it's not paid by the property owner. And that's really pretty much, there were some other changes that were made, but that's the most important change.
Yeah, and this was brought to our attention by the building inspector as an improvement in the process. So you'll see later on in the agenda that we are appointing a part-time fire inspector because it's just very important for us to make sure that we're conducting inspections as we are required to by state law, and it's good law. So and
Yeah.
thanks, Warren, for tweaking it. It's a pretty involved process by the time you get to this point in terms of figuring out how we can improve the laws. So, okay, good.
Resolution 125-4 of 2021. Resolution authorizing real property renewal procedures for seniors and persons with disabilities and limited income in certain cases pursuant to Senate Bill Section 9114, Subpart D, dated December 23rd, 2020.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And this is the new procedure that that was discussed earlier by our
By Jen.
assessor, so really requires no explanation.
Right. Yep.
Resolution 125-5 of 2021. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint Paul Donnelly as a member of the Town of Hyde Park Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Welcome to Paul. He's taking the position of a social studies teacher, and he's also a social studies teacher.
Right.
Happy to
Different
have
school.
you. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, resolution 125-6 of 2021. Resolution authorizing the release of the balance of escrow for the Town of Hyde Park zoning administrator.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 125-7 of 2020. Resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute an agreement with Consultant Choice Words to assist the Town of Hyde Park with its efforts to secure funding for the town's various goals, priorities, and projects for 2020.
Second. 2021.
2021, sorry.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So Choice Words wrote the grant for us that we were, where we received 2 million from the ESD. So, you know, again, the grant process is actually lengthy as well. And so we'll be working with them for them to identify the grants that are out there. The state right now is not doing their consolidated funding application. They didn't as of yet, but we hear it may come back. So this will help us line up those monies for the special projects. That's how we funded our TAP projects. That's how we were able to acquire $3.5 million for our sewer project, which sadly did not come to fruition. But there's other projects and other needs out there, and if we can find funding for it, it enables us to do things out of the ordinary without imposing an additional tax burden on local tax burden. So, okay.
Thank you, Supervisor.
All right.
Resolution 125-8 of 2021, resolution authorizing the town of Hyde Park town supervisor to execute an agreement with Rhinebeck Architecture for a feasibility study for the relocation of the building and assessors departments.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again, this is just looking ahead, seeing how we can remedy some of the issues that exist at Town Hall, and they kind of work together along with the choice words.
You know, just if people don't realize, you know, the building department and the assessors department is in the basement of Town Hall. And, you know, if you're a senior trying to get up and down those stairs, I mean, it's really a major issue. So I'm glad that we're looking to address it. And if, you know, when Town Hall finally opens, it would be great if somebody really had concerns or questions. Try going down to the building or assessors department and then back up, and you'll see why we need to really address this.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to explore it, see where we can go with it, and take it to the next step.
Great.
Resolution 125-9 of 2021, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute an access and removal agreement and co-location agreement with Verizon Wireless of the East LP for a communications tower located at 113 South Quaker Lane in the town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. Resolution 125-10 of 2021. Resolution authorizing the town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept the 2021 updated listing of electrical inspectors as the official list of electrical inspectors for the town of Hyde Park, and approve inspections on time to be added as electrical inspectors to said list to the town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Resolution 125-11 of 2021. Resolution authorizing the town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint Peter Longi as Deputy Fire Inspector for the town of Hyde Park Building Department. Did I pronounce that correctly?
I think it's pronounced Longi.
Longi?
But
Okay.
very close. Yeah.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Resolution 125-12 of 2021, resolution authorizing non-putunk the attendance of newly appointed Councilman Stephen Woodcock at the New York State Association of Towns virtual 2-day town boot camp Back to Basics webinars on January 12th and January 19th, 2021.
And may I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How was it, Stephen? Was it worthwhile?
It was actually. I learned quite a bit from those two boot camps. I'm looking forward to the next seminar. But there's it's a lot of information. But they moved through it pretty nicely. And Ken, one of the presenters was a Buffalo Bills fan as well.
All right.
So we have someone on our side. But yes, it was really informative. You know, as an incoming councilman, it was super informative as far as, you know, town law and how, you know, the breakdown of the departments and the organization of, the town board. And, so it was very helpful, very
Well,
helpful.
Thank you for jumping right on that. And it's unfortunate you weren't able to attend the live one. But perhaps, who knows? We can hope for the future, but
Oh, yeah, definitely.
yeah, good.
Yeah, you get a nice meal with a live one.
Resolution 125-13 of 2021. Resolution authorizing newly appointed Town of Hyde Park Councilman Stephen Woodcock to attend the New York State Association of Towns virtual annual meeting and training school to be held February 14th, 2021 to February 17th, 2021.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. Resolution 125-14 of 2021. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the 2021 Town Board liaisons for the town and community.
Second.
And favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And these will be listed on our website. So if residents want to access, want information on a particular department, that they will be all there, and you would be able to call your council person to inquire.
Resolution 125-15 of 2021. Resolution creating a police modernization committee for the town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And again, this is to comply with the governor's order. Last week, we had a police forum where residents were invited to speak and give feedback to the town. We will be incorporating those comments along with the intense effort that we participated in with the county and to come up with a improvement plan for our police. So this is the next part of that and thank you for those members who are stepping up, and we look forward to presenting that plan at our workshop in March. March 8th. And then okay.
And then a public hearing on March 22nd.
And then we'll be, you know what, we can do that next month. We will set a special meeting for the March 31st, I think it is.
Correct.
To
31st.
adopt the plan. Okay. Good.
Mhm.
Resolution 125-16 of 2021, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for the Town of Hyde Park Police Lieutenant Paul Kacha.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Resolution 125-17 of 2021. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for Town of Hyde Park Police Assistant Derek Byrne.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. Resolution 125-18 of 2021. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Police Sergeant Martin Monaco to attend the Dutchess County Police Supervision Class March 22nd through April 2nd, 2021 in the city of Poughkeepsie.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 And any opposed?
Resolution 125-19 of 2021. Resolution authorizing Town of Hyde Park Police Officer Michael Stallone to attend the SNYPJOA Basic Juvenile Police Officers Association Training, March 22nd through March 26th, 2021 at the Westchester Police Academy in Valhalla, New York.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Glad to see our officers are attending a lot of trainings, and that is part of our expectation for our adopted plan.
Absolutely. Resolution 125-20 of 2021, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the purchase of a replacement vehicle for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department fleet.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Resolution 125-21 of 2021. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept the 2021 Public Works labor and equipment rates for the Town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Okay. Resolution 125-22 of 2021. Resolution approving the budget revision to the Town of Hyde Park budget for the period of December 2020 budget revisions number 2020-12.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 125-23 of 2021. Resolution authorizing 2020 year-end interfund advances for the Town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Resolution 125-24 of 2021, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to amend the Town of Hyde Park Employee Handbook regarding compensatory time and authorize compensatory time earned prior to January 1st, 2021 to be paid out at the 2020 pay rate for all non-union employees.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution,
I was just going to say, that's a revision in our current situation where we pay employees out for their compensatory time when they leave. But we'll be doing it annually from this point on. We set those monies aside, and it just makes sense to pay employees out at the rate that they're earning that year.
Yep.
Resolution 125-25 of 2021. Resolution approving the formation of a Public Health Emergency Plan Committee for the Town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any?
This was added, right? This next one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Resolution 125-25 of 2021, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the disciplinary settlement of town employee 12521 and authorize the town supervisor to execute said agreement on the town's behalf.
Second.
Second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Resolution 125-27 of 2021. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint temporary maintenance mechanic Alkidori for the Town of Hyde Park town buildings.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Bunch of them.
that was a lot of resolutions.
It's almost like a reorg.
Welcome, Steve.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
we
January
Thanks a
put
lot.
of things to this meeting. Okay, does anyone else have anything they'd like to talk about?
I was just thinking earlier, Aileen, when you mentioned seniors who might have trouble with a computer, the Hyde Park Free Library will give some assistance. COVID, it's all COVID, distancing and everything, but they would help people.
Oh, very nice to hear
Yeah.
that, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, they have a bank of computers there that they would allow someone to use.
Yeah,
and
and
they would
we
even
have
help them.
a 45-minute period, which would be plenty of time for that.
Oh, that's good. That's good information, Dave.
Yeah,
That's
it's just because of COVID, we limit it and we have to clean the computers and
sure. I mean, there are
State number they can call.
telephone numbers also,
yeah.
but I think that they're often very difficult to get people to answer. So yeah, that's a good point though. So they can use the 833.
833-697-4829.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, wishing everyone a safe next couple of weeks. Where the infection rate is starting to come down. They had expected a big bump after the holidays, and I think that proved to be true. So, if people still must maintain social distancing, wear masks, and wash their hands. Just continue to be really careful, even if they do have the vaccine. So with those efforts, hopefully we'll be looking at this in the rear view mirror at some point soon. All right, well, good to see everyone. Miss seeing everyone in person.
Right,
Thanks,
I do too.
Supervisor.
Yeah,
Night,
stay
keep
healthy,
well.
everybody.
Thank you
Take
guys very
care,
much.
everybody. Be
See you guys.
safe and well.
Stay safe.
Take care.